What's up? Hello, everybody. Today we're going to be matchmaking the Bantamweight division. I think, honestly, the second most interesting division in the UFC right now, behind the welterweight division. Maybe the lightweight, featherweight, middleweight. After that, I mean, middleweight's kind of boring with Hamza now. Anyway, as of recording this video on the 30th of December, we have 3 confirmed matchups, as I've written here. We have Umar and Davidson on the prelims of 324. Sean O'Malley and Song Yadong on the main card of 324. Bautista and Vinicius on their own fight night later down. I think it's March. I'm not sure. With Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong, I think Sean takes this fight. He has more experience in bigger fights. He's been under the bright lights, so to speak, if you want to talk about intangibles like that. And this is Song's biggest fight. It's like there's going to be... This is the highest he's ever been in the rankings, the closest he's been to the title shot. There's going to be a lot of pressure, more so on Song than on Sean. I think Sean fights better when there's less pressure also. He's smoother. He doesn't, you saw it in the second Marab fight. He was under a lot of pressure and he got submitted, I think Sean has better striking than Song Yadong. I think Song is more well-rounded, but given it's 3 rounds, I don't think Song will be able to smudge Sean to a decision, which is the path of victory I see for him. I also don't see a KO for Sean, but he does have the nuclear option. So out of these 2 fellas, I'd give the win to this fella right here, Sean O'Malley. What Petr Yan call him? Call him a prostitute? No, I kind of see it. It'd be a cheap prostitute, I think. But anyway, whoever wins this, Me personally, I would not give them a title shot. I think they have to win 1 more. But if Petr Yan defends against whoever is next, we know what's going to happen. If Sean wins, he's getting a title shot immediately. They want this man as a champion. I get it. He brings in the pay-per-views. I mean, we don't have pay-per-views no more, but I guess he brings in attention. So on the same card, we have Umar. Where is he? Umar Nurmagomedov and Davidson Figueiredo. Here are their respective characters. Umar and Davidson. We got here Umar reading a book. Very scholarly of him. Here's a picture accurately represents him. I don't know what's going on down here with this character from, I assume, My Little Pony. I say I assume just so I don't blow my cover of being a brony, And here we got the God of War, Davidson Figueiredo, hitting the gritty. Love him. One of my favorite bantamweights. It's unfortunate, given my prediction coming up in 2 seconds. It's a good fight. I think it'll play out a lot like Petr Yan versus Davidson Figueiredo. It'll be like a domination, but with less flashiness. Petr Yan is very flashy. His throws, his trips, they're all great. Even his striking. I think this will be a domination. It'll be more so of a domination, but less entertaining, if that makes sense. I think Umar gets him down with the wrestling. It's a 3-rounder, so Davidson has less chance to fluke. And even if he did try to fluke, I don't think he's getting that. I'm not gonna lie. I think he's past his fluking days of like slamming people out at featherweight, not featherweight, at flyweight. I think it's over. I think it's over for the title run for Davidson. He's coming off of a win against number 15 ranked Michael Jackson, so I think it's over for him. Whoever wins this fight, I would give them the loser of Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong, and I'd make that like a secondary number 1 contender fight. So it's gonna be a title fight. It's gonna be a title. This is title fight at the beginning of the year, involving Petr Yan and someone else that we'll talk about in a second. Then it's gonna be a number 1 contender shot between another group, and then this. So the winner of Umar and Davidson will fight the loser of Sean and Song in the number 1 contender shot that comes later. So it'll be 2 number 1 contender shots in this order. This is how I would do it. Okay. And lastly, we got of the already made matches, we have Mario Bautista and Vinicius Oliveira. We take a look over here on these very informative graphics. Here we got Vinicius Oliveira, the body of Oliveira, and the beautiful cranium of Vinicius from Real Madrid. And this is Mario Bautista incredibly chopped. I don't know how you look 50 years old and 16 at the same time. Kind of unsettling. This is the perfect fight of like if you're looking for a technique versus fluke, no, technique versus like KO matchup. This is what you're looking for. You know, Bautista's super technical, very measured. He has good fight IQ, and Vinicius Oliveira can fluke you. Basically, I'm sorry to use that word 3 times in a row, but I think Bautista has better cardio. He's faced better competition. This is a 5-rounder. We've seen Vinicius gas in a 3-rounder against worse competition. Whoever wins gets to fight up the division, depending on how it shakes out. And whoever loses gets to welcome Bryce Mitchell into the division. Yes, sir. Bryce Mitchell beating Said Nurmagomedov. I think he deserves to get a chance to get into the rankings, given his position at featherweight, given how good he looked against Said. Yep, I think that's what I would do. All right, so those are all the matches that are booked already that I can't do anything about. Moving on. Montel Jackson, ranked 15. I don't know how this guy's still ranked. He's lost twice in a row. His last loss was against Davidson. Not the worst loss in the world, but you know, like I don't think he should be ranked anymore. I think we feed this guy to Topuria, Alexandre Topuria. Seems fast to get a ranked matchup on your 3rd fight in the contract, but honestly, they're pushing him. You know, they're pushing him, and I think it's good that they're pushing him because both of the brothers, they've been like, "Yeah, I want to retire." After being in the company for like 3 years, I think Topuria said he wanted to retire at 29. This is Ile Topuria, and Alexandre, he basically retired already. Came back, is doing a couple fights, but he prioritizes his brother's career over his own. So I'd say give him Topuria. Get him into the rankings and get him fighting as much as possible, which is not that much, but get him fighting as much as possible before he retires. I think he deserves it because his fight over Begzat, he completely like slimed that guy out, and I think beat him all 3 rounds. No, maybe only lost 1 round. But Begzat's a good guy. I think he's gonna be ranked in the future, so I value that win. For me, that win is of value. I'd give Topuria the win against Montel by dominant decision, probably low output dominant decision, or like last round submission. Maybe Montel shoots a sloppy takedown after getting rocked, gets put into one of the front headlock chokes, something like that. Okay, Kyler Phillips, ranked 14. You guys are going to see a trend with these 12, 14, and 15. We're getting these guys out of here. The Unks. I don't know why Kyler Phillips is ranked. I don't know why he's ranked above Montel either. His last win was Pedro Munoz, bro. That's crazy. Like, let that sink in, you know? It's out there. This is another guy that I would give to... This is a guy that I could maybe give to Barcelos. Either give Barcelos, Montel, or Kyler. But if I'm following my heart, my mind, I'd give this guy McGee. Oh, I have no space to write his name, but McGee. So even though they're both coming off of losses, you know, McGee and Kyler Phillips, McGee's loss is way better. Merab literally lost to McGee's loss, Petr Yan, and he's the champ now. I think McGee is ranked material. He gave Petr Yan like an okay tough fight, like 70% difficulty, you know. He still lost, but I'd give McGee a chance to get into the rankings. These last like 12, 14, 15 is pretty interchangeable, but McGee, Topuria, and now talking about the next one, Rob Font, he should go against Barcelos. Barcelos needs to be ranked. There's no way Barcelos shouldn't be ranked right now. He beat Peyton Talbot. He's on a 5-fight win streak? How many? Like, I don't know how many fights he's on, but he's won a bunch of fights in a row, and he hasn't even gotten a ranked opponent. Peyton Talbot got old man Cejudo before Barcelos. You know, I guess I understand they want to push him. The whole fight in the first place between Peyton and Barcelos was supposed to be like a stepping stone for Peyton, and he got fraud checked. But give Rob Font Barcelos, Big B, Big Baller, Big B. Give him Barcelos, get him in the rankings. If he wins, which I think he will, he'd be right below Peyton Talbot, which is fitting. I mean, I think he should be right above. Maybe they'll put him right above Payton Talbot if they're fair. They put Talbot at 12, Barcelos at 11. I'd just give this guy Barcelos, and then yeah, I think he wins by smudge decision like all his other fights. You know, he's impressive. I don't want to say he's not, but I think he wins by decision. Now, going on to a little bit of a more interesting prospect, we got Payton Talbot. This guy right here. I didn't want to just put a picture of him on the stripper pole. That's too basic. You know, it's too easy of a target to stick to make fun of. And I think, honestly, I've never tried it, but low-key, stripping looks hard as hell. So I respect it to some extent. Also, I glaze this man, so. My sweet baby Ray. Oh, who wrote this in my notes, bro? Who hacked my notes? My sweet baby Ray of Sunshine, coming off 2 wins in a row. Just give this man his belt. Who hacked my Google Docs, man? I think the move with him is Chito Vera. Chito Marlon Vera. These two motherfuckers. Get this old man out the fucking rankings. This guy does nothing in all of his fights. What is he? 3-fight loss streak? Man, we gotta get this guy out the rankings. Out the top 10 at least. He's top 8, having lost 3 in a row. And one of them was like a gifted title shot against Sean O'Malley. I think Talbot wins this as an easy decision. Of course, Vera has them hands. He's got it on him, you know. He's knocked out people before. He's like flying knee, fluke someone, front kick, whatever. But I think Talbot has a good chin. I've never seen him rocked. It would be really sad. It would be really sad if Payton Talbot followed the Sean O'Malley storyline and just got chinned, or not chinned, but just got somehow fluked by Marlon Vera. But yeah, I don't think Marlon Vera is capable of that. That's at this point in his career. So I just give him Payton Talbot. Let Payton Talbot continue the title run. Maybe one more win after Marlon Vera. He's good. He's Gucci. He's probably going to fight for the belt. Okay. Next. Brown. David Martinez. Also known as this guy here. From the hit show. CP, you know. Cyberpunk Edge Runners. We love CP on this channel. We condone CP. We enjoy watching CP. A lot of it. You know, I actually watched CP while I was running on the treadmill at my gym. That was my introduction to the series. David Martinez. Speaking of someone getting in the rankings after fighting 3 times, which is, who were we talking about? We're talking about Topuria, right? Yeah. We talk about Topuria, how it's kind of crazy he'd get in the rankings after fighting 3 times. This guy got into the rankings after his second fight, right? That was the second fight. He beat who? He beat man, I don't remember, but he beat someone and he got into the rankings right away. I think it's kind of crazy. Overall, he's on a 9-fight win streak, but one of those fights is on the contender series and the rest are the smaller promotions, so I don't really give it that much credit. I think out of the, excluding Keller Phillips, Montel, and Rob Font, in the rankings, I think David's case is the weakest. I think he's the one that deserves to be here the least, including Vera. I know, including Marlon Vera. I'd give Martinez Corey Sandhagen, because Corey's is coming off a loss, so he has to fight down. And David Martinez is, you know, I guess he's coming off a win. Like, I don't know why he's ranked so high, but yeah, he's coming off a win. Impressive win. No one was expecting that of him, but give Corey David, and I think this will be an easy sort of like whooping, you know? Like, your uncle comes into your room and beats your ass when you're 9 years old. Like, this is a kind of whooping that's going to take place. Corey Sandhagen is more skilled. He has more experience. Everything I said about Sean versus Song, but like times 10. I think it's going to be a fraud check by decision. And I think, you know, David's not bad, but this is going to show that he does not deserve to be among the top 10. You know, I could be proved very wrong, but I would bet a lot of money on Corey Sandhagen winning this fight. Mr. CP, I think losing Mr. CP, Mr. Cyberpunk, I would send him way down in the rankings if he does lose. 15, 14 spot, somewhere around there. Maybe he can kick one of the unks out. But I just can't justify where he is right now. Next. Ayman Zahabi. Mr. Zahabi himself. I like this guy, you know, like, there's a lot of hate for Ayman, but he's good, you know. He's on a good fight streak. You know, he's had a lot of boring performances. He's had fights where he it looks like he shouldn't have won that. He's had robberies, but my opinion, I think this guy should fight the winner of O'Malley versus Song. I know that's not gonna happen if it's O'Malley. I'm aware, but I have to try. I have to say, I have to do what is right, even if I think it's not gonna happen. I have to do it. Like, Amon should fight the winner of Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. If the winner's O'Malley, he's definitely not gonna fight him. If it's Song, I could see it, but the UFC doesn't want this guy any further up the rankings than he is already. He's a more of like a boring fighter. I get it. I feel bad for him, but I get it. I think the title run is over here. No matter if this is made either to Song or to Sean, won't be Sean, but if it's made to Sean, I think it's over here for him. Yeah, I think he gets beat by decision in both of these cases. He could even get KO'd by Sean, honestly. But I think the title run ends here for Zahabi, unfortunately. By the way, I forgot to mention this is Ori Sandhagen, if you couldn't tell. Kitty Patootie here. Nerd. Anyway, last but of course not least, we have these two guys up here. Petr Yan and Merab. Alright. Completely justified immediate rematch. This guy fought 4 times in 2025. Arguably fighter of the year. If he beat Petr Yan, which we all thought he was gonna beat, like we can't go back on the agenda now. That would be his 4th title defense in a year. That would be breaking records. Like, and that's a crazy record to break. It's not most fights in the UFC. You can just be old and get the most fights in the UFC, right? Just fight 4 times a year since you're 19 until you're 42. But this is a crazy record, 4 title defenses, because you get to the champion and it's cozy up there. Every time you're fighting for the belt, you're risking it all, and you're risking it against people who are hungry and who want to take it from you. So, Merab, 4 fights, he lost the last one. It was a dominant decision, but he lost it to a guy who he's won before over, and it was a dominant win in both cases. So I think justified immediate rematch, and I think he just deserves to rest and recuperate and regenerate for this fight. I don't think fighting 4 times in a year is good for anyone, much less. I mean, I know Merab's a machine as pictured here, and this is of course Petr Yan, because ESPN would never lie to me, right? ESPN says he's Petr Yan, so he must be Petr Yan. Anyway, I think it's a completely justified rematch, and I think in this fight, no matter how much it pains me to say this, because I've come around to Merab. I have a friend who's Georgian, so I feel like this sense of responsibility to support Merab. But I think in the 3rd fight, Yan will win a close decision for like 47-46. I think he's downloaded the data, man. Like Corey. He's downloaded the data. He's fought Merab 2 times. The 2nd time went even better than the first. Following the pattern. We're following a pattern here. Here's our first fight. Not so good. Here's the threshold of success, right? So you pass this threshold, you win. First fight, he got cooked. 2nd fight, he won. What's this, huh? What's this pattern? What's this pattern making here? There is correlation here. I think the next fight, he's gonna win. I mean, according to my what I just said about the 47-46 decision, his fight would be down here, like he'd win just barely. But honestly, I would not be surprised if he beat him even crazier than the last time. So yeah, I'd put it Yan by decision. Definitely not a finish. Finish would be crazy. Yan by decision. I'd do close decision because I assume Merab is capable of making adjustments, even though I haven't seen him make any adjustments, except go for submission sometimes. And yeah, those are the fights. We got the made fights of Sean O'Malley versus Song. I got Sean O'Malley winning. Davidson versus Umar. I got Umar winning. Mario versus Oliveira. I got Mario winning. Then we have Montel versus Topuria. Kyler Phillips versus McGee. We got Rob Font versus the Big B. Fucking Barcelos. David Martinez versus Corey. I got Corey schooling him. Marlon Vera versus Peyton Talbot. I got Peyton Talbot winning. Eamon Zahabi versus the winner of Sean versus Song. And yeah. Petr Yan versus Merab. Unfortunately, Petr Yan winning by decision. You know, I love Petr Yan. I am a Petr sexual as well, but I want Merab to get his title back. I want him to keep going. I want him to be the GOAT without discussion. You know, I just don't see it happening. But yeah, okay, guys. To my 9 loyal viewers, thank you for watching. Next will be either the middleweight, lightweight, or featherweight rankings, and we'll see how it goes. Thank you. I'm gonna go take a bath, I think. I'm not sure.